Hi, we're Ralph and Lahni back with another episode of Planetary Calendar. And I have to keep reminding myself it's not 2021 because we're working hard on the 21 calendar. But we're going to do the forecast for July of 2020.
Yes. I'm going to actually read the forecast to you, and we're going to then comment about it later. The third eclipse of this series, remember this is a 3 lunar eclipse cycle, lands at 13 degrees of Cancer on July 4th. Talk about symbolic. A black box day, as we always make eclipses, at the royal star Sirius, which is at 13 degrees Cancer. It is coincidentally America's birthday. We asked at the time when we wrote this 18 months ago, is the USA going to be eclipsed? Sounds like it. Possibly the Russian hacking of the 2016 elections will be blamed for permanently changing the global hierarchy. But this is a martial healing, a deep need to release the onerous obligation to commit violence for the sake of peace. The American feminine nature has spread itself over the globe, and it can feel every scar from its actions in the form of financial inequity, failing education, and crumbling infrastructure. This is transformation with global manifestations as America returns to its core mission of home, practical achievement, and philosophical pursuits. The Cancer new moon on the 20th has a simpler theme: humble, chastened, and reserved, a preparation for rebirth. Days to watch. On the 1st, Saturn retrogrades into Capricorn. After tangling communication, retrograde Mercury turns direct on the 12th. On the 22nd, the Sun enters Leo, lifting some of the heaviness left over from the 3 eclipses, thankfully. The white circle on the 24th is a good time to move projects along. The 27th is a black box day because of the abundance of aspects converging on the day, making it hard to figure out which way is up. The white circle on the 29th completes the white circle on the 24th, which, with the support of Sun-Moon trine, moving events along. Quite the month. Not as crazy as June.
Especially when you put it like that.
Oh, not as crazy as June with its 2 eclipses, but still.
Well, some of the craziness spills over because Mercury is retrograde until the 12th. So that always throws people for a loop, and not without good reason. I mean, it's hard enough in this day of hyper communication. I mean, you can't get away from communication. There's so much coming at you from every different kind of device and type. We get a lot less mail, but I get a lot more email, and I got a lot more texting, and we've got social media and messenger, and something is always beeping on my phone, and I'm sure a lot of you people feel the same way. So you're bombarded with this communication energy at all times, so much more so than we had that black curly cord hanging on the kitchen wall, and so it's hard. It's harder, I think, when Mercury goes retrograde because we feel it a lot more because there isn't really a part of our life that isn't affected by that communication snafu.
Yeah, well, and also the other thing that's happening is Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, so it spends the entire month in the sign, so it means communication is going to generally slow down. All the paperwork, everything else is going to slow down. Everything's going to take twice as long to do.
And when it goes direct, how can you tell? Because Mercury in Cancer,
right.
Remember the crab brings everything to its mouth. And so it's a very internalized energy. A lot of times we talk about Mercury in Cancer as a natal position is like, pulling teeth, like get it out, say what you need to say.
Right.
So making it retrograde at that time only compounds that.
Right, and then it's doing this opposite Jupiter in Capricorn, and Jupiter in Capricorn is the fall position for this, which is a very internalized position for Jupiter. And then Saturn, remember, is going to retrograde back into Capricorn after leaving Capricorn for Aquarius for a number of months. It's going to back into Capricorn. So Mercury who's joining the Sun, who's also in Cancer, trying to push this love everybody, feed everybody, is having to be opposed by the big structure. And you really could see major communication problems with the government, with bigger systems, with big companies and things like that.
Foreign energy with Jupiter, in Capricorn retrograde. In fact, everything from Jupiter out is retrograde except for Uranus, who could benefit from being retrograde
Right.
because Uranus is a little bit too out
there anyway.
all the time. So I kind of take it as a breath in when Uranus is retrograde. The saving grace there is that it's in Taurus, so it's not one of the most active, ebullient, anarchistic
Right.
manifestations of Uranus anyway.
Yeah. But that eclipse right on July 4th at Sirius. Remember, Sirius is the patron star of United States because they planned that the declaration.
They chose that
date
to highlight.
To highlight that wonderful energy. It's the brightest star in the sky. And remember, Benjamin Franklin, even though he was not a delegate to the Congress, was there in the Congress, and because he was America's preeminent astrologer, and they chose this date very purposely, and have an eclipse on that day. Admittedly, it's the third eclipse, which means it's the completion of the cycle.
Right.
Which is kind of a...
It's the outcome. It's it's the purpose that the other ones led up to. So
Exactly. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's happening. Remember, too, we're doing this forecast well in advance of July.
And, a lot of times eclipses, as we all know from our personal experience, are turning points. They're pivot points. Like, oh, we've been doing this, but, we've got this epiphany. We've got this aha moment. We've got this issue that we've been asked to really look into deeply and figure out if there's a new path that's going to get me further on my way. And that's what eclipses so often do. They bring these things to light. And so, as Ralph said, this being particularly highlighting this eclipse highlighting the major star, the reason for the 4th of July being the Independence Day for the country is a significant event. So don't be surprised if the whole country takes a new direction.
Right. Now, the meditation for that day is the power in your sense of mission fuels your desire to build a sustainable future where you nurture and care for your loved ones. Interesting. Remember, this is Cancer. Now, the moon is in Capricorn, remember, in the same signs with this trilogy of planets now, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, the big outer planets. So this is very much about your family, your home, your personal sustaining future. And then our suggestion for that is basically a blend of neroli and cedar, neroli being the beautiful floral Cancerian, and then cedar being the woody Capricorn. And you're going to place them in the number 4 and number 10 section. So basically the middle back of the house and the very front center of the house as a way to activate it.
And don't stress if you're doing the essential oils. If you don't have neroli, pick another floral scent. Ylang ylang, or
if you don't have cedar, use pine.
And any kind of woody scent is a good scent for the representation of the Capricorn energy.
Now the new moon that takes place is interesting because on the day of the new moon, the 20th, the sun is in partile opposition to Saturn. So that message is really being driven home, and the meditation for that is your core need to nurture creates a circle of personal sharing that provides an emotional haven when the affairs of the world seem cold and unfeeling. Whoa. Blend lemon and myrrh together and place in section number 4. But really any homey scent in number 4 will help a great deal, make you feel grounded.
It's interesting because the sun and Saturn both often are used to depict the father in the chart. And the moon, of course, is used to depict the experience of the native's mother in the chart, or the person who taught you how to love, and Saturn being, or the sun being, the person who teaches you to be out in the world. Sometimes those roles are reversed, but it just highlights this balance that we're always struggling for in our lives anyway, between, home and work, and, being out in the world and taking care of family. And so again, they chose the chart for July the 4th because it was in Cancer, because this was going to be the new home. This was going to be home to people who had felt homeless and abandoned by the father country.
Right.
So it's a very interesting that this so dramatically.
I'm going to want the national bird to be the turkey.
Real quick, the black box on the July the 4th, that's kind of a shame. It means not to, of course it means don't start anything new there. I think that something new is going to start there, but passively, not for you to do something personal with it. It's there because it's just a profound kind of turbulence on that day, and your judgment may not be fully developed.
It may be a little stressful.
The other black box is on the 27th, and you have only to look at all those aspects there to realize that all those squares, I'm not trusting anything, especially since, the moon is in Scorpio and Uranus is having trouble with the moon there, opposing that Scorpio.
The moon, yes.
So, but thankfully there's a couple of white circle days. The 24th is a lovely sun sextile moon, and the 29th is a sun trine moon, which if Ralph had his way, every sun trine moon would be a white circle day. And we do try to see if the other aspects will support that. So, there's that, and the Mercury retrograde, that really gives you a signature for what July is all about, between the eclipse, the retrograde, going direct after being retrograde, and those black box days.
Yep. So pay attention. Stay on your toes.
We'll see you next time.